stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay, I'm fine, yeah.
Put your phones down.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? I set up 6 chairs in the front here, so if you have a question, you can sit in those chairs, so we see you up here, and you have a question. We're trying to keep this meeting under control, no screaming and yelling. If it gets out of here, just start screaming at the mic, I'm gonna mute. We're all adults here. We talk normal. The way we're going to do it, the managers are all going to speak. Let them all speak, and you got 3 minutes at the mic. You ask the questions. We'll write down. If the manager writes down the question that you're asking, if they can't get them all down, we'll have them written down, and then he'll answer the questions for you. So they'll answer the question for you. But the first person we're going to talk to is Chuck, but after we do the roll call and the secretary's report. Okay? Roll call, please.
Good evening, everybody. The roll call. Tom,
Here?
Debbie, Julianne, Sue, here. Sandy,
Here.
Harvey, absent, and Kerry.
Here.
The
Secretary's report.
Sorry, we had stereo sound there. The Secretary's report. This meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. A notice of the quarterly meeting was published in the July and October issues of the Leisure Village News, which has been mailed to residents. And I pass this over now to the President.
I'd like to dispense a motion to dispense the reading of the minutes for August 4th, 2025. Motion, please.
I make a motion.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we have a special guest, Chuck Richard. He will be talking about Lake Tudor and the project that we're having on that.
Hello? Yes. Hello, everyone. Chuck Woodsack from Woodsack Engineering. We have been, the engineering firm has been helping you with the Lake Tudor situation. So what the board asked me to do is to come in and give you an update as to where we are with that project and what we anticipate will happen to resolve it for you. So I think... Better? Okay, sorry. Okay. Basically, over the summer, I think everybody that was visited Lake Tudor or even heard about it from other residents in the area realized that there was a lower water level of the lake than obviously we would like. We were initially brought it to our attention around July, beginning of July, and at that point in time we were measuring, and our reference has always been the spillway. So basically, if you were to look at the lake, there's a metal grating where the water spills in, and there's a concrete wall that you would call it. That's the spillway. The top of that would be the reference point. So when we first started looking at it, it was summer. It was hot, as everybody knows, and what we were measuring was, and actually DEP, who you'll hear about a little bit, has been working with us in conjunction with this project, required us to go out and make inspections on a daily basis to make sure that there wasn't a problem. The original cause was that there was one of the barrels of the pipe that allowed the water to exit the lake had sprung a leak, so to speak. There was a joint that was allowing water to come in through the ground, not through the normal, over the top, through the pipe. So there was concern what was happening and what would be needed to correct that. So we went out, started to do some investigation, and started to monitor what was going on in accordance with the DEP. What we found out within the first several days to a week was that it was not a catastrophic situation, that the lake was not about to fail or we're going to have a dam break or anything of that nature. But the next step was to figure out how we were going to fix that. So once again, those in conjunction with the monitoring of the lake and some other things that we were looking at, we tried to figure out what the best course of action was. Going back to that reference point, when we first started looking at the lake, the water was down about 30 inches, so 2.5 feet from that crest. So normally what would happen is in cooler periods, certainly winter areas, the lake would build up to the top of that spillway and then the water would start to flow over. It's similar to the way you see it at Lake Woodhill when you drive down Rockingham and you look over and you see the water spilling in. So we had a situation with all the back lakes where the water was down low. So, but the main focus was obviously this leak. So we've been monitoring it over those periods of time. We've been in contact with several contractors to try to figure out a way to get somebody in to fix it. And the method that we best felt was going to work was basically called a polyurethane injection repair. So what happens there is basically a contractor, and this is a large pipe, so it's a little bit easier. You could actually get down into the pipe. It's 36-inch diameter. They would go to that joint that's leaking. They would drill holes all the way around the circumference of the pipe, and then they would inject the polyurethane. And what happens is the polyurethane will then harden once it's contacted with water, and that seals the leak. So that's basically the principle that would be used. It's a very common principle in construction. It's been used thousands, if not more times, in surrounding lakes and areas that have problems like that. It's used in storm drainage systems, it's used in sanitary storage systems. So it's a common way to take care of it. We presented that to the DEP and also basically went through and tried to select several contractors to present to the board to see what was going to be the best price for you guys. At that point in time, I think there were 3 people that had bid, or at least were in talks with us about being able to do it. A company called CJGO was basically the one that seemed the most reasonable from a price standpoint. They're a company that's basically located along the entire eastern seaboard, probably about 30 different locations between here and the Midwest. And basically their cost to seal all what we wanted to do was seal all the joints to make sure that any of the other areas, there's 3 pipes actually coming through that outlet structure, that all 3 of those pipes were going to stay solid and be taken care of. So basically for that, it looked like there was going to be about the cost of about $39,000 was their proposal, which we felt obviously was high, but we wanted to make sure everything was as best we could. That's why we were looking at the other contractors. We presented that information to the DEP, who asked for additional information, and basically we've been going back and forth with them for the last, I guess, month or 2 in order to try to get that done. It's been a little difficult to honestly be getting back and forth because ever since COVID, there's really been a change in the way communications take place down at the state. It's basically there's nobody in the offices anymore. Everything is via email. I think the vast majority of the people that you deal with the DEP now still work at home, and it basically is kind of slow. So in that time frame, we're trying to get down to the bottom of it. We still have some negotiations to do with them. They're asking for some additional information, which is a little bit outside the scope of really what you need for these purposes, and we don't want to do that because in order to facilitate what they're asking for, which is a sign-off from a licensed individual, that would require another geotech firm to go out, and their price is around $40,000 to drill holes. And we really didn't think that was in the best interest. We're trying to find another way through that with the DEP. The good news in the meantime is that, like I said, we have been monitoring it. As of today, which was the latest time that we took a look at the lake levels, like we said, normally we were down 30 inches or, in that general area. After the last nor'easter that came through about, 3 weeks ago, I think, the water levels in the lake rose to a point where it was in 6 inches of the spillway, still didn't get over the top, so it's going in the right direction. Since that time, we have seen it drop about another 8 inches because we think that there's other issues that are related to the actual sources of water for the thing, but for the whole lakes. But the good part about it was that the flow that we saw coming out of the pipe joints before In June, what we're seeing now, it's about 25% of what it was before. So basically, more water, about another 1.5 feet of water in the lake itself. And the way it usually works with a leak of a pipe under the ground is it's called, at the head, if you will, it's the level of the water. So the higher the level of the water, the more flow that will be pushed out through that joint and forced out because of more pressure. It's the same thing as if you go into a swimming pool, if you went down to the bottom and you feel your ears have to get popped. That was that pressure that would be coming as you go deeper. In this particular case, we noticed that the flow has gone down considerably, even though the lake water has risen over a foot, probably 1.5 feet really. So, what we're thinking there is that it's either starting to dissipate on itself and reseal itself, or there was another source of water that may not have been directly a source of the original lake. In other words, the water was not entirely coming from Lake Tudor, which we kind of thought was the case to begin with. So obviously we're going to continue to monitor that. We're trying to get ourselves, the contractors are ready to move as soon as we get some feedback from the DEP that they're going to be okay with it. Within a week to two would be their mobilization time. And that's pretty much where we stand at this point in time.
Any questions for Chuck?
Yes.
Please sit in the chairs here so I know how many people are going up.
Hey, what's up, Chuck? I'm Dave Carson, 103F. My first question is, why is there a sluice gate on what is essentially a detention basin?
Well, the sluice gate was actually required or requested by the community. It's a good idea. The reason that we have it is that when you have a big storm that takes place at Leisure Village for certain, what they'll do is they'll come and they'll lower the lake. They've done that on Mud Hill a number of times where we knew we were going to have these big storms. And what that does under normal conditions, when the lakes are all full, is it allows that water to get down a couple of feet. And that's actually something that's
Yeah, but it has no feed into it, so there's really no reason for a sluice gate in there. There's no natural feed into those three lakes. It's all surface runoff. It's all sheet runoff.
There's sheet runoff. There is probably some groundwater that does come in, but I agree with you that the majority of it is sheet flow over the top. But the sluice gate is really independent of the water coming into it. It's almost as it's basically an emergency situation that allows you to lower that lake if something goes wrong.
But it's unnecessary. You agree, right?
I don't agree that it's unnecessary. I can't say that because it's used in all major dams that you have around there, and obviously it's something that is coming.
But the overflow would take care of it if we ever had a flood problem there. The overflow grade would take care of any flood problem.
Yes, but this is a different.
So we don't really need to lower that in case of an emergency. Now Lake Wild's a different story because it has Kettle Creek coming into it, and we can't control that. But I'm saying, but that is only sheet runoff. You can just shut that gate off, and you would solve your problem tomorrow.
But what I'd say is that the sluice gate, I did check it. The sluice gate is closed.
It's flowing. I was there 2 days ago.
There are other things that are going on there, and I'll touch on that now. Basically when this structure was constructed, it's monstrous. It's very big, and it came in 4 different sections because they couldn't carry it on one. It was precast. You either had the option to pour it place or precast.
My last question, do you want Dan Lockwood's cell phone number if you want to talk to the DEP? Because I have it right on my phone here.
Please give it to me. I'll be more than happy.
It's 609-203-5062.
203 what?
609-203-5062.
5062. Okay, thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
Dave.
Thank you.
Another day of 102B. I'm just wondering, is there data on how long the plastic that they're going to seal these things lasts? How long it will last?
There is data on it. They don't expect it to come apart in 4 years, without a doubt. It's more in the area of 20 to 25 years. Something did not take the way it should have. Don't know whether that was an application or that was actually the material that might have been bad. I will say that I have been in contact with the contractor who originally built it, and he told me that he was going to come back and try to seal up those individual holes that you see, the spurts that you see coming through the actual outlet hole, so we can see if we can try to get that taken care of. We're also talking to the manufacturer to try to get an answer on what is the story with this particular material, and how can we go about shoring it up to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore.
Pete Pezowitz, 32A Cambridge Court. Chuck, I'm not sure why you're having such a difficult time getting in touch with the DEP. I've spoken with them at least 6 times over the past month and a half to find out if the information that they're requiring has been submitted. And I talked to them again this morning, and they said they're still waiting for the information, including a sign-off from the engineer, which I guess you don't feel comfortable signing off. And so we have to go out and get another engineer, is that correct?
It's not exactly that way. It's signed off by the engineer. This is something that, by the way, talking to the contractor, they've never in their existence had to do it. The problem with the sign-off is that basically, when you're any kind of a civil engineer, there are areas that you will focus on and that you have the ability to sign off on plans and things of that nature. When it comes to something of this nature, it's not anything that a normal engineer does on a regular basis, and it's equivalent to basically asking me to sign off on the composition of the gasoline in somebody's truck. So it's a means and method thing. Means and method in our business is basically when somebody comes in to do work, I tell him, build me an inlet, build a community inlet. They have to do that within certain specifications, but I don't tell them how to do that. I can't say, dig the hole here and turn it 45 degrees and pull the bucket up. If I do that, I put not only myself, but the community at risk, because then you become rather responsible for that. This is basically something where we're talking about a maximum 250 PSI, which is the method that we're proposing. We have 125 tons of concrete underneath this structure. So we're very confused as to why the DEP is asking for a sign-off on something that's clearly not necessary, which is why it's throwing everybody off.
Okay, so aside from your confusion, they sent you an email basically at the end of September indicating 3 things they needed in order to sign off on the project. 1 being the signature, 2 being the pressure that the structure could handle to push the ground into the voids, and 3, the kind of product that was going to be used. And that was almost a month and a half ago. So why is it taking so long on a situation that was in the inspection that was done in July and it said it needs to be rectified immediately? Why is it taking so long to get this done?
Number 1, it isn't taking that long. Number 2, they have the information that you asked for, and the only thing that they don't have is the sign-off as, and the reason I explained is why that was in place.
Well, that's not what Sarah at the DEP told me this morning. She said they were still waiting for some additional information.
Well, the DEP, okay, I will talk to Sarah tomorrow and see what her story is at that point.
Okay, but I've been coming to these meetings now for 6 months, and it just seems like sooner or later we got to get moving here.
I agree with you 100%. We were ready to move in July, and we did not get the cooperation, unfortunately, that we were expecting.
Sean Boyle, 290C, Malvern Court. Chuck, now you're saying that you can't sign off on it, is that correct?
Yes, that's with the information that I have right now. In order for me to sign off on it, or any other engineer to sign off on it for it, we're going to need to do a $40,000 geotechnical investigation of the dam.
Okay, and so you did sign off on, when you found the problems going on with the spill, right?
Absolutely.
You signed off on that.
Correct.
And when you signed off on it, you stated one of the things that it needs immediate attention.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Okay, so
We are ready to immediately attend to it, but the DEP does not want that to happen.
well, that's not the case.
Oh,
Because
absolutely the
that's
case. It's absolutely the case, sir.
well,
We are ready to go. We had a contractor lined up. We had to pull him off because he was ready to come out and do the work.
okay, but did they not ask you for certain modifications of how the next rebuild was going to be?
He asked for information that's not customarily provided within the industry, and they gave no reason as to why they needed it.
Okay, so here's what it is. As Pete mentioned, here we are 5 months later.
Absolutely.
Still no further than we were 5 months ago.
Correct.
Now, several times, Tom Claus has mentioned that every time we come to this, actually, that the next time the men will be out there working, and he's given us 3 different dates to which that was going to take place.
Right.
And here we are, still nowhere, no further than we were 5 months ago. When I asked him the last time at one of the meetings, how long ago, Mr. Claus, were you informed that this was going on? He said, oh, I didn't know about this till a year ago. Well, that's not true, because we knew about it upon the remodel, at the end of the remodel. So somebody, an engineer, signed off on remodeling at the time that it was completed, correct?
There was construction, there was sign off at that point in time, yes.
Right, it had to be an engineer, right?
It wasn't leaking at that time.
Well, that's what you're saying, but other people are saying different, that it was leaking at that very time. And even one of the
I
foremen
expected
on
it
the
by
job
seal on it.
stated that it was leaking and said that this wasn't gonna work.
Well,
But
perhaps
anyway,
you should-
who was the engineer that did sign off on it?
I signed off on it originally.
You originally?
Yeah.
Wasn't there another engineer involved too?
I don't believe there was.
Okay.
And I'd love to know who it is that said it was leaking. Please provide us that information so that I can understand what happened in the past. Because I know my inspections concluded that there was no leaks when the project was constructed, and there was a one-year maintenance bond that was underneath. That was also inspected, and it was fine at that point too.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is I look out the window for the last 11 and a half years, and I have noticed this going down from the time it was remodeled. So it wasn't significant at that time, but as you know, at these times, it takes quite some time to empty a lake out to
It does.
this
Absolutely.
extent, right? Well, I'm not an engineer, I'm not pretending to be one, but I can obviously see that it's getting worse on a daily basis or a weekly basis.
We agree with you 100%, and we were ready in the month of July to move forward and have those corrections made.
Okay, well, back then, when it was reported, long before a year that Tom Claus said it was reported to him, it was down 3 years ago, right? I mean, the remodel was 3.5 years ago, right?
Correct, it's around that
Okay,
time frame.
so, other than yourself, we've seen the lake dissipate ongoing at that time on.
As you heard from one of your residents, that the lake is primarily fed by surface water,
Yeah.
which is very heavily dependent upon weather conditions, including evaporation and things of that nature. That lake is going to go up and down. We're looking
I
at
know, it was
around
also said by Tom Claus that it was due to a drought. And there was no drought in Ocean County because we looked that up with the Weather Bureau. And actually, in May of the year before, we've had the most water fall in 100 years.
We are currently in the process of pulling together all the information related to that. And what we found is that there really is consistency between the last several years regarding rainfall. And that's all being compiled, and that's all going to be provided as a report to you.
Well, initially, Tom Claus said that the only thing that was holding them up was the DEP, right? Well, we
Yeah.
were in touch with the DEP, and they said that's not true.
They're not telling you, I'm telling you, I
signing
am
off
telling
on
you
it.
for a fact, sir, that the DEP will not let us go out there and make those corrections. It is their reason, it is their cause. They have no reason, in my opinion, as a professional engineer to do that. And you can go back and tell Sarah and anybody else you want tomorrow morning, because I'll be on the phone with myself to find out.
Let me ask you, how did we get 3 different starting dates?
Because they were pushed off 3 different times because of the DEP. We had a starting date, we had people mobilized, ready to go, and we had to pull them off at the last minute back in July because they wanted additional information.
And what was that additional information? What was it they wanted?
They wanted the information as to what was going to be done to fix it, which I explained to you what it was, and that was provided to them as well. They had information from the actual contractor who was going to do it as to his methods, what he was going to provide. And then the only piece that they still, and actually, when I spoke to Sarah, every time we've spoken to Sarah, by the way, she's been a very nice person. And she said, oh, I understand, this sounds good. And then what happens is that she needs to go back to someone else who is her supervisor, and the supervisor doesn't get on the phone, he doesn't talk to us, he just tells her, no, go do something else. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't want to trash the DEP, but I'm in a position where I have no choice.
So where is the stumbling point to move
It's
it
at the
forward?
DEP.
To move it forward?
It's at the
The
right
DEP
now.
is solely responsible for this thing not moving forward.
I really question whether they have jurisdiction over this, quite honestly, because there is no permit that's active on this project.
Well, if they didn't have any jurisdiction, then why isn't it moving forward on your end?
Then we should talk about that as a point of the board, and I will discuss it with them. We obviously try to conform with the environmental agencies as best we can, but when we get to a situation where there's a standoff for no good reason here, because honestly, I'm the one signing things. I'm the one that puts my name on it.
All I know is what you did sign was it would need immediate attention.
It did not.
And immediate attention hasn't gotten.
That's correct. It did not. It was inspected, was one. You're talking about the one in June? Absolutely, it needed an immediate inspection, and we moved forward on that. If you're talking about 4 years ago when it was built, it was fine.
But you said it needed the repairs.
Yes,
Immediate.
and we were ready to go then, and we are being held back by the DEP. They're the ones that are stopping it. If I go ahead and move forward, there's going to wind up being a fine to the community of, I can only guess how much the numbers would be.
Then who makes the stand that this does get moved forward? He's going to hold us up, inevitably forever?
Well, obviously that wouldn't be the case. We wouldn't get to that point. We're getting close. We're getting close to the point where some action needs to be taken.
Another real quick question.
Yes.
Come 2 months from now, 3 months from now, we still don't have this resolved, right? And
Sure,
now
just
we're
your
in a
last
lot of
question,
pressure.
okay?
Is it going to prevent the work from being done because the grounds are frozen?
What has to be done in that pipe, I don't believe that it would, because we're talking about literally concrete up against these pipes. And we're talking about a situation where we could access it from the inside. So I don't think frost is going to have a factor on that. And I surely hope that that's not going to be another 3 months.
Okay, can you give us just kind of a ballpark window to when the work is going to be started?
As soon as they say it's okay, there'll be somebody there within 2 weeks.
And let's assume that DEP doesn't say it's okay, and then just continue to say that. What's going to move this forward?
Legal action, I think. That's the only other course you have.
Okay, so be it.
Thank you.
Dory, 334B. Who is the original designer of?
I am.
You are, okay.
Yes.
Okay, and that was way back in three and a half years ago?
Correct.
Okay, and they signed off on it, all right. So did I hear you correctly say that the structure is repairing itself?
I didn't say it was repairing itself. It appears to be slowing down. There are some cases where when you do have migration of materials underneath the ground, they can somehow start to plug a little bit and make things better. I don't by any means say that we're going to walk away and say it repaired itself, but it is in a situation where it seems that it's getting in a better situation than it was before.
Okay, because I'm not an engineer, although I have family members that are engineers, and I don't believe that statement to be accurate. How can you say the DEP isn't in the office with NJDOT and all the county projects that need to be done? You mean to tell me nobody can get in touch with the DEP? Or just you can't get in touch with the DEP?
It's very difficult. I suggest that you go try. It's not easy.
We have somebody sitting right here that has contacted the DEP on a regular basis. Somebody's not doing their job.
Well, perhaps we should talk after this.
Perhaps you should do your job that you're getting paid for.
I'm doing my
Okay,
job.
who are the other companies that you reached out to? You gave us the name of one.
We reached out to GEI.
Okay, do you have a quote from them?
Yeah, I don't have it with me, but there was a quote for it. Those are the guys that wanted $40,000 to...
Okay, I'm just asking the companies. I'm not asking them to slow down. GEI?
Excuse me, ma'am?
GEI, Capital
I didn't
GEI?
hear that after your comment.
Capital GEI is one company. What's the other company?
What are you asking me for?
Who are the other companies
What
that we got
contractors?
quotes from?
Are you
Yes.
talking about contractors that are doing the work, or are you talking about
I got-
contractors to help with the other stuff?
That you got quotes for to do the same project.
CJGO is the person who gave us the low bid. I don't have the others in front of me. I'll provide them if you need.
Okay. To be honest, we don't necessarily want the cheapest bid. We want the quality bid.
We understand that.
Okay, so please find somebody that's quality. And by what you're saying, which is we're talking in circles for our longest projects taken, because this was last March and April that this has been drying up.
I only knew about it in July.
Well, that's a shame that our manager doesn't drive around the village and see what's going on. However, I'm going to vote no confidence in Chuck Witzak taking care of this project.
Thank you, Chuck. We have a supervisor's report now. First one up will be Phyllis Fritz, Administration.
Good evening, everyone. So a couple updates from administration. First thing I want to do is apologize for the delay in this month's Leisure Village news. The issue does include the OLB Foundation Fund Drive materials that are put into the center of it. While we did meet the early deadlines needed for the publisher, there were a few hiccups along the way between the foundation documents and the publisher's requirements for those inserts. We did get good news today from the publisher to let us know that the resident copies are being delivered to the post office, so the mail carriers should be getting them delivered to you very soon. Just want to thank everyone for their understanding. And along for the newspaper, just as a reminder for those who send in articles for clubs and groups, December and January's printing deadlines are also much shorter due to Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays that affect the publishers' holiday closures and printing schedules. So it is for all of their accounts. So again, those 2 months, we will be having a tighter schedule on our side to get them in. So, as far as a reminder, dryer vent cleaning is now required for every 2 years. For those people whose renewals are due now, we have once again secured a lower rate for the community with Duck Dudes. I spoke with them earlier today. They did have a small increase since we started 2 years ago. They're offering $65 plus tax for the residents of Leisure Village. They're doing that via check or cash. If you needed to pay via debit or credit card, there would be additional fee for those services. They will give you a receipt at the time of payment when they do service your unit. So do make sure that you get a copy of that. And then, as always, you are free to choose any contractor that you prefer. But just make sure that you forward a copy of the receipt to us so we can update your account. Additionally, please don't forget to update your contact information. If you've changed your telephone number, email address, or even main contact for some people that are snowbirds, please contact administration so that we have the most updated information for your account. Also, don't forget to verify your emergency contact information if you haven't updated it in the last several years, just so we know that should we need to contact someone, that we have the most updated if they've changed any of their information as well. Wanted to give you a quick update on some scheduling. Due to Election Day tomorrow, there will be no Ocean Ride bus service because that is run through the county. Voting tomorrow will be in Buckingham Hall from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you are still currently scheduled for garbage pickup tomorrow and for Veterans Day. They don't have any changes to their schedules. And then lastly, many of you know that Lois officially retired on Friday. With the support of our P&L committee, Eileen has joined our team, coming also from an HOA background. She stepped in right away, jumped in right away today, and we believe she'll be a great asset to our team. So if you're in the area, stop by and say hello.
Thank you, Phyllis. Next up, Frankie Rodriguez, just grounds. No, buildings, just buildings. After everybody speaks, there'll be questions.
Good evening, everyone. I'll go through the numbers first, then projects, and things to come. So last year we ended up with 9,174 working tickets, and year to date right now we are at 8,748. There are 46 open tickets right now. There are 8,702 closed tickets. Road work for the Cambridge area, Edinburgh. So the painters will be coming in Wednesday due to the weather, depending on the weather. So they are scheduled to come in Wednesday to do the 91 through the 106 area for the parking spots. Roofmaster is still here. They're working in the Thornbury area right now. We've done 22 buildings, 84 units, and they have 5 units on schedule for the rest of the month. The soft wash ended. There were 198 buildings, 887 units that were soft washed this year. The lake fountains are taken out and stored for next year. Buckingham Pool has been winterized. As Phyllis said, the voting will be at Buckingham Hall only. Garbage pickup will be for District 2 for tomorrow. They still will be coming in. They had a little hiccup today. One of their vehicles had broken down, so they missed Edinburgh, Sterling, and some other units. They will be here tomorrow to pick those units up. JCP&L were by the entrance. They did a mark out. Hopefully they'll come and fix those lights that have been out. MUA is going to be working in the 93 through 87 area for the water main break and fix whatever needs to be fixed by the new pump house in the entrance. Winter's coming, so we're preparing for that. Always prepare for the worst, hope for the best. For some of you people that are new or have no idea of the walkway or streets that we have in the village, we have 51 miles of sidewalk. So that's like going from here to Newark Airport. There's there's 20 plus miles of road. So that's from like here to Tinton Falls Outlet. Just to give you a reminder of what we have to cover for the snow removals. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Frankie. Next up is West Tenor for grounds.
Good evening, everyone. Today we have started our leaf cleanup season and we'll continue to do so throughout the community as needed. For those that may be new to the community, I just want to let you know that we do our best to meet everyone's needs that the leaves will be removed off your property. We typically do 2 rounds for the bulk of the leaves, with each round being 3 to 4 weeks, weather permitting. So the goal is, if everything is running smoothly, to get round one done by Thanksgiving week. That way we can take advantage of the shortened week to get the gutters done for the second round. Again, gutters are done usually the second round. The second round goal is to be completed by Christmas or by the New Year. Any additional cleanup, we will continue to do so. However, the last few years we were able to meet these goals. I do want to make mention that all of our team members are needed for the leaf removal operation, which brings me to my next topic with our irrigation techs. So our irrigation techs have already started with winterizing the sprinkler system. District 2 has been completed and now they are working in District 1. The goal for them to be completed throughout the community is Thanksgiving week as well. However, no later than December 1st, they should be done with winterizing the sprinkler system. As soon as they are completed, they will join the rest of the team to help with our leaf cleanup. Moreover, there are some projects that we are keeping in mind to get completed. One is the 63 court where the new parking lot was put in. We have to do some leveling off in the area. The other area back at Dorchester Hall, by the pool, by the lake, the reason we have not finished in that area with soil and seeding over there was due to the issue with JCP&L, being that there was no power to our irrigation clocks. We have a lot of trees that need attention that will require the contractor's assistance in most of the areas. This coming Friday, Long Connection is scheduled for their final treatment, which will be the lime application. Over the last few weeks, we have completed the 3-foot overgrowth tickets that our compliance officer has given for our guys to take care of. In my conclusion, I just want to remind everyone again in regards to leaf cleanup, the first round is tough to deal with because as soon as we clean up certain areas, we still have leaves falling from the trees. So the turnaround may seem like we are taking forever to get back to you, but just think about the residents that are not being started first and getting done on the 3rd week or 4th week. Again, that is weather permitting. I hope this helps. If not, I understand, and if there is any issue, just call us or email us so we can see if we can meet your need if possible. Until the next time, everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your year and happy future holidays to you and your families.
Thank you, Wes. Next up is Mike D'Elia.
Good evening. We've been servicing the trucks for the winter, And we finished up the leaf equipment for removal, and we'll stay with that through the whole season. And we started the snow removal equipment, getting that ready. We started with the smaller things, the snow blowers and the walkway plows, because those are the ones that sip the most. And that's where we're at for now. And plus all our miscellaneous things we do every day for vehicles, anything that gets stuck, and get out there for rescues and things where our equipment stops running occasionally. And that's it.
Thank you, Mike. Next up, we have John Lindster, compliance.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to start off with the winter season is coming. Now is the time for those of you who have garages. Now would be the time to start cleaning them out so you can get your car into the garage during the winter snow days. Now it's just a quick update on the traffic law. I had it out Wednesday last week for about 7 hours. It recorded 52 speeders, only 5 or 6 were residents. Since last quarterly meeting, I have received around 125 new permits for home renovations and/or landscaping projects from homeowners. Approximately 75 permits have been completed, which leaves about 200 permits still open to be completed. All of the overgrowth is completed in Leisure Village. I gave Wes 15 units for his cutlass, which I think he's almost finished building. Thanks until next spring. About 5 cars were towed out from the last quarter till now, which vehicles were not registered with Leisure Village. On the last note, and again, I would like to remind you all that Leisure Village permits are needed if you're going to do any repairs, replace anything in your home, and hope everyone has a happy holiday till next week.
Thank you, John. All right, now we're going to have questions. The way it can work, we have 6 chairs up there. If you have questions, sit there. If you don't have any, once you're done with your questions, please leave the seat there so someone else can sit down. So you got 3 minutes for the mic. Ask all your questions to all the managers, and we'll write down the questions and they'll answer them for you. Okay? Thank you. One time up at the mic. So, okay, Dave.
Wes, this is purely anecdotal. I'm not a biologist, or I don't know your equipment and everything. But is it possible, this whole leaf removal, instead of having an army of people with blowers and blowing it out to the curb and having it picked up, is it possible you could just keep the same lawn mowing schedule and chop the leaves up, and it would save money and manpower?
No. Ask all the questions. Do you have any questions for any other managers?
The only other thing, Wes, I would say, because I saw this in the monthly flyer, it seems that there are a lot of dead trees and dead branches, and I see these guys cutting stuff down all the time. It doesn't look too dead. I would say, let's cut down the dead stuff.
Dave, do you have any questions for any other managers up there?
I don't know if it's right here, but now when I moved in, I have a GE washing machine, and the pump seems to make some really weird noises. But when I moved in, there was this thing about, if you have a GE appliance, we're going to come and fix it for you. Is that something that is 102B? I mean, it's not. It's still working. It's just making weird noises. Okay. All right. Yeah.
We'll go Dave tonight.
Hey guys, thanks. I only have like 2 questions. I was talking to one of our board members and was a little bit offended that I was grouped in with the people that come up here and just scream all the time and say, why don't you do something about it? So my question is, when is the next election, and how many votes, how many signatures do I need to get on the ballot, and who seat am I going to take?
I can answer that. You don't need any signatures to get on the ballot. You can fill out a form. When is the I think it's February 15th. I think you have to have it in by the 15th, around that period. We'll make an announcement when you're allowed to, but you'll be either filling my seat or Sandy's. Right? No, I mean, but we'll I'll turn you up.
So when is the election?
Oh, Alice is the charge.
It's January 15th, I believe. I don't know what day of the week that is. If it's the weekend, they have to the Monday to go and get an application and fill it out and bring it into the office. Thursday.
Well, I would be honored to offer my expertise and experience to this board.
They would welcome you.
Thank you.
Is that it? I think you said you have 2 questions.
Well, I just want to say also, sir, you can be nominated from the floor the first week of February if you don't get your application in by January 15th.
I'll get to this.
Okay, it's quarterly meeting, first week of February.
Yeah, Denise.
Denise Still, 43G. I thought there was something I need to read, and it's regarding John.
Okay, is there a question you're going to ask him?
Well, no, it's regarding, let me just read this, it's 2 minutes.
Well, is it a question, or are you attacking him, or?
I'm not attacking. I'd like to just please read this, okay? I'm not attacking. Thank you. On July 24th, I received a notice from John to remove 2 chairs that were 1.5 feet into a common area. I stacked the chairs and moved them into my 3-foot area. I did not receive a formal notice about anything. On August 5th, I received a second and final notice to remove the chairs and empty the flower pots that were in my 3-foot area. If I did not remove them in 7 days, I was going to receive $100 a day fine. This is harassment. Neighbors have tables, chairs, other junk in their garden. The area by my unit is filled with overgrown trees and bushes, and John continues to ignore them. When my unit was filled with smoke from the neighbors having a barbecue, a charcoal barbecue, John came by from the beginning and baited me. They put the charcoal barbecue in the middle of the common pathway. Well, and then he sat there with the neighbors, talking and laughing. I came out. He told me to get back into my. I heard a voice say, "Get back into my house," and I just yelled back, "F off." I did not know it was John. But I know since I've lived here, I have been called an effing dyke, a murderer, a baby killer, F off, I dress like a prostitute. I've been called fat, ugly, old by a 20-something-year-old, and John just continues to say, prove it. Cambridge Court has been a garbage health hazard. Neighbors have filed numerous complaints. John has created conflict between me and my neighbors, blaming only me for the complaints. He told one of my new neighbors that I am the one who's always complaining. I have not contacted John since 2023 due to fear of retaliation. I had made peace with my neighbors. We were getting along until this year when John recreated the conflict by alluding to or accusing me of complaining. I have avoided Dorchester Hall. I do not feel safe. I fear being gaslit, retaliated against, or abused by John Lindstrom. As a senior, disabled woman of color, and part of the LGBT community, I have spoken with an advocate who has assisted me in pursuing legal actions against this association. Unless these issues are rectified, and plus I get a written letter of apology. This is my home. I have a right to feel safe. I will not be abused. This is my home. I have a right to feel safe. I will not be abused. This is my home. I will not I have a right to feel safe. I will not be abused. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Hi, Anne Marie, 353D. I just have a couple of questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to be having to wait until the board or not.
Do you know which
Yeah, well, a couple of
manager?
questions. Regarding, our insurance is going up for the community.
That's not any of the managers.
But I'm not sure if this was Phyllis's or not. Regarding like providing proof of home insurance, does every resident have to provide proof to the office every year that their home is insured? And if they're not doing that, how is there a follow-up to make sure that everybody has home insurance? Okay, same with the dryer vents every 2 years. If they're not getting their dryer vents cleaned out, how do we know that and how are we following up on that? Regarding the budget, and I don't know if it's any of the gentlemen over here, they've instituted a cost. If we call the service department and someone has to come out to our home for an issue, that there is going to be a cost implemented. Is there going to be a generic list of costs with, the most issues that you would find that the servicemen have to come in to check in a home, that we would know if we would have to pay extra, and how are we going to build for that extra cost? So there's a standard cost, so if I have like Joe come in, he's going to say it's going to be X amount of dollars. Someone else called for the same issue, and Scott said it's going to be another dollar amount. How is that going to be cost, for us? How are we going to know the additional cost that may happen when we call the service department in 2026?
We'll answer that question after the manager's answer.
Okay, thank you. And regarding the speeders, I don't know if in the past, but can we have a cop station that can ticket these speeders for our safety?
No, we do not.
I know we don't, but can we? Okay. And just the engineer who was going to stay to speak to the gentleman has left. But I just want to voice, I moved in here the end of 2023, and anyone who drives past those three lakes, Avon, Tudor, and the one behind Dorchester Pool, can just eyeball how low the water has gone. So it just wasn't this past summer. I think it's evident to everybody, even though Tom, who's not here, said it was just recently, this year. And I guess I'll wait for the lawyer, or Tom, because he's not here either, about having an attorney who's representing us through the Lakewood litigation.
When the lawyer's turn.
Right, when is he going to become a guest speaker? Okay, thank you. That's
You're welcome, thank you. Cindy?
Cindy, 218A, I'm not sure, it's not really John's question, but you know what my question is, I asked you today. We who are people who have numbered spots, we're not guaranteed that that spot is going to be there for us when it snows. So I want to know, I asked last year, so I want to know what the village is going to do, that if I leave my house to go help or do something in a snowstorm, that I'm going to have my spot when I come back. So I want to know, I know Tom had said that we can't put signs up, but there should be a sign up in front and by both gates that states if you park in a numbered spot, you can be towed away, so that if I come home and my spot is taken, I can get that person towed.
Thank you, Cindy. Dory?
Dory, 334B. Let's see. Phyllis. First of all, where is Tom Claus and where is Gina? Why aren't they here tonight? Why didn't we get an explanation at the beginning of the meeting?
Gina had surgery on her foot today,
Okay.
so she can't come. And Tom Claus, it's his anniversary. He set up a weekend, he didn't look at his schedule, and he didn't realize, so.
But somebody said this was posted in July, I think July, and in September. Like, he's the village manager for a quarterly
Took
meeting.
a couple of days off, and that's all I know.
Okay, all right. So Gina, with 4 people in accounting, why are we spending additional fees on a payroll service? I'm not Gina, Phyllis. Are you able to answer these questions? No, okay. So I'll
Well,
be-
we can get that answer for you.
Okay, I'll send them in. Let's see, John, there are at least a dozen cars sitting in Dorchester lot for well over a year. Why? There are environmental hazards sitting there with leaking oil and what have you. So why are they still sitting there? And you say they have to move every 10 days, and they don't move every 10 days. Frankie, there are cones in front of 385D that cover wire for pathway lights. The wire has grown into the ground since it's been that way for at least a year. Weeds have grown to the top of the cones that are guarding that wire. And the same thing for the rear pathway of Dorchester Hall. When will they be repaired? There's also a broken street light on Dorchester with a bunch of cones around it. That would be an emergency situation that I think they should repair it because it's got jagged metal on it. So we need that taken care of. Wes, there are cones near Dorchester picnic area that have been there for at least 6 months. There was a couple of large trees removed from in front of a residence at 375A. How long do you expect it to take to remediate that area? There is also a tree that was cut down on the lake in front of the same area. That's about a third of the way up from the ground. What do you plan on doing with that? And who is the tree company we're using? And are we using them next year as well? And this is for Tom Claus and Wes. You were requested to meet with the environmental committee 2 times through Sue Farrow when she was our committee liaison. Why did you refuse to meet with us?
Dory?
Thank you, Dory.
Dory,
Don't answer the question until...
would you mind us having a copy of your questions? Great, thank you very much.
I won't do that.
Okay, thanks.
As soon as she sees the last question,
Sharon Wagner, 684A. Okay, so Phyllis, what was the name of the company that you recommended for the dryer vent cleaning? Excuse me? Okay, so one of my questions for Gina is, I used that company myself when this rule went into effect, and 4 months later I had to have my dryer replaced, and I had somebody else come out. They couldn't believe that that company did not do their job, not just on my home, but my neighbor's home. So I want to know, when you recommend a company like that, I ended up replacing the dryer so I didn't have to have it done, but my neighbor then had to call another company when she saw how bad mine had been done. Does anybody from our staff tail a company like that and watch what they're doing before you recommend them? Because a lot of people went on the word of our manager and used that company and basically got screwed over by that company. So I'm telling you, you really shouldn't, unless you've gone out there and watched them or had somebody tell them, you shouldn't be recommending them because they're rip-off. My other question would be, let's see, are we doing bonuses this year?
we have not talked about that yet.
Okay, well, it's like November, what, 3rd or 4th?
We have a meeting this...
I'm going to hammer this board to get an answer this year. Last year, I let that question go, but I want an answer to that this year. John, Dory already covered the overflow lot, but you're asking people to clean their garage out. I think you need to clean that lot out, because people are going to need those parking spaces. There's a car all the way down the end where the basketball court is. Whole bumper is off, tires are flat. Somebody called me and said, I think that car might be a stolen vehicle. Like, why is no one checking that parking lot? Yeah, it's white. What? It was there yesterday. Okay, well, there's still a ton more cars in there that you can deal with, because people are gonna need those parking spaces. Wes, I would appreciate it if my home, this will be the third year, if these guys come out the day before Thanksgiving and leave my home a train wreck, because they blow the leaves out of the gutter, and then they leave early the day before Thanksgiving, never come back, and I'm out there with my own blower cleaning up their mess. Don't do that this year, because there's going to be a real problem if that happens. Wes, my other question for you is 2 Saturdays in a row, this past Saturday and Saturday before, multiple men on the property doing these cleanup jobs that people are being fined for. Are we paying overtime for that? And why is it not being done during the week? And I also want to know if some of that work is being farmed out to Joe. Because I see Joe doing a lot of the homes that were reported. So there's something just questionable about all of it. And I want to know who is in charge of when a unit is just purchased. There's several units that are just purchased and being rented out immediately.
The question was, what was the question?
Well, I don't know, our manager's not here, and I wanted to ask him, there's units that are being purchased that are being rented out right away. The 3-year rule is not being followed. Please don't tell me to email you the addresses and you'll get on it. You know, last year, there's a child living over in my section who is still there that no one is doing anything about. I mean, this is, I come to these meetings and it's just getting increasingly more frustrating that nothing's done. I mean, our manager can't even show up tonight, Tom, and that's a really poor excuse. That's poor, and he should be held accountable for that.
So, I mean, he has a life too.
We get 4 times, I don't care what right he has a right to us as our manager to write a schedule down and be here. We only get 4 times a year to have this type of a meeting.
Okay. All right, Wes is going to be answered first, because I have one answer. Wes is going to answer first. Go ahead. I made an announcement at the beginning of the meeting.
I'm hard of hearing. Please speak up. That's why I'm here, because I wanted to ask you to please fix the AV or the speakers so that we can hear better. I'm sure it's not just me. So, what were you saying? Repeat.
No, because I made a speech that she has up here for people to ask questions. All right, go ahead, ask your question. Go ahead, ask your question.
So I wanted to ask about, bring it up again.
We can't hear you.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I can't hear myself, so. The garbage removal, somebody had brought it up 2 meetings ago about making it once a week. I don't know if everybody agrees, but my issue is going into the bins is very dangerous for a lot of us. I get vertigo myself, but it's not just about me. Is there any way when the contract is up, if we could negotiate with a different company, even for a quarter of the amount less, try and get it once a week, if everybody votes on that, agrees to it, and have them go into the cans and pick it up? That's one question. I mentioned the AV and the audio rather. And the third thing, it was noted that the gate yesterday, the exit gate at the Buckingham Drive gate was up, and there were people that were prowling. There was a person prowling. Is there any reason for that? I mean, we need to have it communicated to the people that are working 24 hours, and apparently the night person didn't know. I hope I'm not misquoting anybody, but I have found that too. I had visitors yesterday, and you know, it's embarrassing. I'm showing them that I'm in the gated community and the gate's up.
Okay.
So, just something to think about. Thank you.
Ma'am, could we have your unit number, please?
99B as in boy.
Thank you very much.
Just as far as the garbage collection, because I mean, I never saw them before until I moved to this community, and it's a great idea, but we're not utilizing them. So,
All right, Wes, the first question I got was mulching of the leaves.
Right. I believe that was a 102B. The reason why we don't mulch the leaves, well, we do like when they first come down. However, we get a great amount of complaints about the leaves being mulched up and that it just looks a mess. And the amount of leaves that we have out here, it's just better to do it this way to get the areas cleaned up and put on the way. We spend a lot of money on equipment. We try to use what we can just to get the leaves out the way. On average, we do about 600 tons of leaves for the leaf removal season. So just today we did 15. That was just one day, just to let you know. I believe also, let's
The
cut
other
that.
question was the cones around the picnic area there?
Yes, from 334. So yes, the cone is in the area I spoke about. We need to do some more work over there with the soil and seeding. The reason why we didn't do soil and seeding is because the irrigation clots are out. And so therefore, just to make sure, we just wanted to follow up too. I've been monitoring the area because the problem that we had over there was because of tree roots. So when that tree got removed and we dug up the roots out of that area, it actually helped the situation. But we do want to fix a few things. We want to put a drain right next to where the water is coming to that point, to that contact point where it's flowing into the lake right there. So we will be doing that, and that's going to be a project that's going to be after leaf season. And we're doing soil and seeding. If we get the irrigation clots up and running by the springtime, we'll remediate that area.
And the other one was, how come you're not responding to Dory Grimes?
That, I apologize. However, I did have two main guys. Our tree tech guy, he was out and still is out. And then, I don't know if you guys heard about our golf course attendant. He was injured, he was out, so I was constantly at the golf course over this since August into September.
I think there was the one question why you're not going to their meetings.
Oh, that was the reason why. I was just caught up busy in the community doing those other works.
I believe that's all the questions for Wes.
She also added, who's the tree company? So this year, we know the budget was cut this year significantly. So Platinum was the contractor because he was, I think, 3 years contracted. So this was, I believe, his final year. And I think we are going into bid for the next season. So I'm not sure who's going to be the next contractor. I believe they're going out for bids for that stuff. They are one of the guys that are bidding. I believe we have two others. I'm not sure the names right now. I believe it was Postom. They was in competition 3 years ago when I first came on, and Platinum I won a bid on that. And Ms. Sharon, I will make sure that that's taken care of for you. And also, the reason for the 3-foot growth, the old growth, why, how much, right? So, I get the tickets from John. Those are the tickets he's talking about, the 15 tickets. And those are the ones that got violations 21 days, right? And how do we charge overtime? Yes. And the reason being, they do it by, I believe it's $50 an hour. I'm not sure. 100%. I know in the past it was $50 per man hour. So per man hour, that covers the guy's overtime, and it's going to also cover because we had to pay now for disposal of the other material, other debris.
Sharon, we're getting reimbursed from the landlord, the owner. We're getting reimbursed the money, so it's a squash job. We're getting the money back from them. No, we're not. We figured it out that that you're getting the same. Well,
Sharon, so what I believe is the reason why is that Wes can have his folks still doing their jobs that they're supposed to during the week. The work that they're doing only goes to the account that the work is being done for. So The regular residents during the week are still getting the jobs that they need accomplished. The unit that's having that work being done is the only one that's getting charged. So aside from them having to pay to get the work done, they're also having to do it at a top overtime dollar in order to get that work done. So all those 15 units, that's what's happening.
Our guys last week in District 2 were edging, and the guys in District 1 was picking up on the tree stump removal that we had cut down over the time. So they was doing stump grinding and also trimming the bushes in District 1 area.
Sharon, you don't know what they're doing. They could be driving around doing a job, and you think they're not doing anything. Well, then you have a phone. Get their number. Call Tom, and he will. Well, all right. Wes, is that it? Why not? If you're complaining about something, Okay, all right. All right, Wes, thank you. Thank you, Wes. All right, next up is John. Did I have one of this?
You have to sit up here in the chair.
All right, Wes is still up there. Ask him the question now.
I just have a question. With all these trees coming down, I know over by Farrington there was like 10 taken out of there. That's a lot of oak. Are we giving that to the tree company and they're selling it, or can we sell it and pay for the tree?
We have not done that. They are told that they had to remove all the logs out of here.
Yeah, because they cut them up and I swear on sidewalk stuff and they take it away. Now that's good oak that could be, used for something else.
Okay. All right, thank you, Wes. John? All right, the first question, John, was about the chairs.
About the chairs.
She read a whole thing about it.
That wasn't. I'm not going to respond to that statement. I don't know if I will.
It was advised by the lawyer not to respond to it, so.
And it was a statement, that's all.
It wasn't really a question, it was a thing that you heard. All right, the other one is the cars in the lot across the street, the oil dripping down, and they want to know why those cars aren't towed away.
I don't think we can tow a car away. A violation would have to be put on. I'm sorry. If there's a car leaking oil in the parking lot, a violation would have to be on it to be repaired or removed. I'm not aware of any cars leaking oil, so if someone could please point it out to me, or when I get here tomorrow, I'll make sure I walk around and check them all out. As far as Sharon's car, the white car that was missing the bumper, it was towed out on Friday. I was aware of that one being there. It wasn't registered in Leisure Village. There was no license plates on it, no identification. I put violations on it for, I think it was 10 days, and nobody responded to it, so the vehicle was towed out. The one question about why Leisure Village doesn't have police in here patrolling, because Leisure Village would have to have Title 39 in order for police to come in here and write speeding tickets. For residents, visitors, UPS, the village would have to have Title 39. The spots that Cindy was talking about, if somebody pulls into your numbered spot, that would have to be approved by the board for me to tow them with no questions asked if they're in a numbered parking spot. And as far as all the other cars, and like I said, in Dorchester parking, that I will look into. That's not. Yeah, that car's not.
Thank you, John. Next up is Frank.
Okay, so 102B, we do repair GE and Hot Point. So if you have an issue, just call the maintenance department. Chris is our technician. He will come out there and see what's going on with your appliances. 353D, cost. Depending on what it is, broken glass, filters, when you call the maintenance department, the girls will let you know what's the price of the issue that you're having. So depending on what's going on, locks, air filters, broken glass, they'll give you a price on what it is, and the way they bill it will be on your maintenance. And 337. Yeah, you can.
You had a chance to ask you questions and you didn't come up here.
There is a list of service fees, and we will make sure that we get it out on Facebook and Appfolio.
And 334, the wire was, we had to replace the wire. That's why the cones are there. So we're just waiting for Lakewood to give us a pass on that permit and hook it up so we can remove the cones and remove the wires.
That's been over a year.
Yep.
We've had one for over a year.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, that's it, Franklin, thank you. Phyllis, there's a couple of questions for you.
Okay, so for the question on the insurance, so yes, each home has to have a copy of your homeowner's insurance with the village. Unfortunately, homeowner's insurance doesn't happen in the same time for every unit owner. So each unit owner will be different. There are a few companies that also do every 6 months. I think Geico is one of those. So Julie in the office, our receptionist, has already been taking on the task of monitoring all of the units and going through each month for homeowners insurance that we don't have. There were some in the past that haven't renewed them or given us a copy. So she's now going through each month to manage those. For owners that aren't sure how to get us that information, on the Appfolio portal, you can go on yourself and update that information. You'll actually attach a copy of the insurance declaration page. That's really the only page that we need to have. The declaration page has your expiration date, your policy number, and the coverages. Just remember the dwelling coverage has to be at least $25,000 to satisfy the resolution. So you can do that. It'll also ask you to slide over or attach a copy of that declaration page, and you'll actually be putting in the policy number, the company, and the expirations. If not, Julie will send you or call you, whether she emails or gives a phone call. We're trying to get ahead and sending a reminder about a month prior, so that we get those things at the proper times. But after, she's going back and now corresponding with people to let them know that we do need a copy. There are a lot of units to go through in order to do that, but with her help, we'll be able to do that. Unfortunately, the dryer vent is a little bit harder. The system gives us no information in order to pull a report to get that. So that is a manual process that has to happen. We were able to put a tag in each people's units to note if if we had a 2024 dryer vent listed or 2025. People that are just now taking over units have a different year date. If they just started in 2025, they may not have had it until October of 2025 as their new one. When they do purchase a new unit, they are told that they have to have it. They can check with Jennifer in her office to see if the prior owner happened to have a current one and what their expiration date is, so that they know going in when they purchase a unit, this is what they have. They are able to maintain the previous owner's time periods, but moving forward, they know that their date as well. So that process takes a little bit longer because it is completely manual. Homeowners insurance, our system allows us to see that information a little bit easier. But that is something that the office is doing. Sharon, thank you for your comment about duck dudes. We've had very few in the last few years. Most of the comments that we had were issues or very few complaints over service tax, and those were given directly to duck dudes with who it was so that they were able to address it. Just like any company, if somebody happens to have an issue with someone, unless people know, it's difficult to address. But yours is the first I had heard of that. So I'll get that information, I'll let them know. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, it could be some specific tech, they're not aware of it and they can't follow up, so that's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. That's what any contractor the village sends. If you have a problem with them, call the office so we can address that problem. We don't know 4,500 people. We don't know all the problems. So just who oversees the rental units?
So for rental units, all owners are made aware prior to the purchase of a unit. Our packet for buyers and sellers, both sides of a property sale get our documentation. So it's the same that every single realtor gets. So all of the people that are assisting with the sale of a unit have this information. We get from them who the intended people are that are going to reside in the unit. They're signing off on that when they say they're purchasing the unit. Now, we typically know if flippers are purchasing the unit and we don't have an issue with that. They're disclosing that that's what they're intending to do. Same thing with people that are saying, I'm going to be purchasing a unit and Sue is going to be residing with me. We get their documents to be assured of their age and requirements when they get their purchaser documents. And they are signature and signing off on those. But if something changes and their intent was to rent it, if no one tells us, it's very difficult for us to know, even though we purchased it, that we've done something that goes against the rules and regulations. So when we ask to let us know, that's the reason why. We will certainly go out and investigate those things, but if we don't know, there's no way for us, once they purchase a unit, they come and they do their registration packet, that they decided they really weren't going to stay. And usually we find out because you're willing enough to tell us that for us to be able to do our due diligence, and we absolutely do.
Thank you, Phyllis. I'd like to thank all the managers. You can leave now, except for Phyllis. Our attorney report, Greg Vino Gretzky.
Good evening. So I'm going to give some numbers that I gave at the last board meeting, but since this is the membership meeting, I'll just reiterate our collections for the calendar Q3 totaled $102,614.46. September was $33,774.40. And I'll have the numbers for October in about a week about how much we were able to collect, which is what our status reports has generated. Just a couple things, since this is the last quarterly, some things to forecast in the next year on the legal landscape for community associations that I'm obviously monitoring. There's two main things that are looking to get approved. One of them is going to be board member training, and the other one is manager training. Because there's obviously a governor's race, anything can happen, so we're kind of monitoring to see where a couple of these bills go. They can get fast-tracked, or they can just be, DOA. So we're trying to see how it's going to shake out in the next couple of months. The board member training, the way it's currently postured is, it's a one-page bill. It basically says that there's an agency that'll promulgate certain educational test or quiz or just a class that board members have to take. One time for board members, you don't have to keep retaking it every time you get elected, but it would be a requirement to sit on the board. Obviously, if that is the state law, that would be the association's law as well. The same thing with manager training. That's something that got proposed. I'm not sure if it's going to get any traction, but basically require kind of continued education courses for managers, so they're obviously aware of the latest laws, the latest trends in the industry. And again, that's likely to be delegated to an agency. So we'll see if that's something that they want the DCA to handle, or someone else to come up with some rules and regulations for associations to comply with and for managers to comply with. So I'll keep an eye on them, and I'll obviously advise the board, and I'll advise the membership as these things get closer and closer, or if they just kind of fizzle out, which these have been put forth for many, many, many years, and they kind of fizzle out, but now we're kind of thinking at least the board member training is gonna happen in some form. That's all I have.
Thank you, Greg. Committee's report. Anybody have a committee? Debbie has, oh, actually, sorry, any questions for Greg? Yeah, sorry.
Hi, Joanne Glass, 451B as a boy. I would have liked to have asked the question while John was still here, but, it wasn't a question. I didn't know I could ask it then. Since one of the people that came up earlier spoke of, the issue with her statement, and he was advised not to answer the question.
Right.
If down the road he was to be charged with something or brought, something was to happen with that, who would be representing John? Do we represent him? Is the cost our cost? Are you the person who would represent John, or does he have to get his own counsel?
Probably know what my answer is going to be, and that is that it would depend on a million circumstances, right?
So a couple case scenarios, a few case scenarios.
I don't really speak in hypotheticals, right? But so I can't really give you an answer because there's a lot of moving parts to all that.
So, but does the village, the HOA, represent him?
The association does not represent him in a personal capacity.
Okay. But he's an employee of the village.
I can't get into that because it's all hypothetical. I just cannot get into it. I'm not trying to dodge the question, and people that know me, I usually answer pretty honestly about when I call.
I mean, do you understand what I'm trying to get at?
I understand what you're saying, but I can't give you an answer to it. And if I could, I would.
Out there so that down the road, if at least it was put on the record that it was asked. Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bill 408B. Just a question. I've asked this question a couple of months back and I never got an answer. Is this association legally allowed to tell us we can't ride a motorcycle? You let the three-wheel guys in.
Yeah, so this is a private roadway.
Right. So they have the right to say what type of vehicle comes in here.
Sure, yes.
Okay, so next year it could be a Ford with a big muffler. Thank you.
You get hammered, 353D. So, Greg, I don't know if this question is for you or do I wait until Tom speaks? Regarding the attorney that's representing us with the Township of Lakewood?
Yes.
You can ask.
Okay. Is he going to be a guest speaker? I know we brought that up a couple of meetings ago.
That's my understanding. He'll be at the December meeting to go through that litigation where the association is with them.
Oh, okay, great. And also, based on the engineer's speech tonight,
and the gentleman that was asking questions, would we consider taking legal action against DEP if what they're asking for is not really legitimate?
So that obviously up to the board, that's a discussion we'll have to have as to the benefits of getting the geotech engineer, which sounds like that's what the DEP is asking for, versus the cost of litigating against the DEP. You can't just outright sue them, right? There's certain administrative rights and regulations that they have, so you have to kind of go through that route a lot of times. So it's not as easy as showing that the court just sued them.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
But maybe
yeah.
we could put a time frame on it, because this seems to be dragging on, and we're not getting really a lot of answers.
I'll say that I wrote it down to speak with the board about.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah. So did Tom.
Pat Wilson, 545 B Sheffield. That was my question too. I've been coming up a few times, as you know, about the Lakewood. Are we going to be informed when the meeting is going to be? Is it going to be an open meeting, or is it just going to be when the attorney comes?
The litigation?
Litigation.
It's going to be the next board meeting. In December.
In December's meeting.
December's board meeting.
Is it going to be an
I think
open meeting?
there's only one open meeting in December, so.
Okay, and we can be at it.
It's going to be an open board meeting, yes.
Okay. And what about the DEP? Can we get them to come in here and talk to us? And let us know why they're not okaying everything?
You can ask.
I'm asking.
Sure.
Good. Can they do that? Or make an arrangement so this way we get answers to some questions we want to know? Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Hi, Dory, 334B. I said my piece to Chuck Woodsack about that, about the DEP and all that kind of nonsense. He was talking around in circles like we're a bunch of common idiots. Are we going to keep him employed?
That can't be a question for legal, right?
I wouldn't stand up here and waste my oxygen if that wasn't the case. Okay, that's the first question. The second question is regarding John Lister's behavior. Since behavior is a language, and John was openly sitting up there in front of everybody here to see, he was laughing at a homeowner when she was making a statement, and then you had to go over to him and tell him to not answer the question. Are we still going to keep him employed?
I don't think that's not his decision.
Well, who's this? It's the Board of Trustees' decision. And this is the second quarterly meeting that John has sat there, smug as can be, and snubbing his nose at the people that pay his salary.
All right.
That needs to be taken into consideration. I have another question regarding, I don't know, I should have asked John if he's his boss or whatever, but there's a security night patrol, Scott? Do we have?
Yes.
Okay. Why isn't he up here answering questions?
I think because John is his boss, and he talks for him. I will bring that up with Tom to find out why he doesn't come.
Okay, that's why Tom Claus needs to be here at a quarterly meeting to ask the people that pay his salary. So, how many nights does Scott work? Scott is his name, correct?
He works 3 nights a week. I think he works one during the week, and then two, I think it was Friday or Saturday or Sunday, one of those days.
Okay, and what in particular does he do? Is he kind of like Wes's employees that they sit around in the truck and fall asleep, or does he do
Drives
something?
around, I see him every night he's there. Drives up and down the street, makes sure there's no people walking around. If he sees somebody, I'm talking about 3 o'clock in the morning, because he works, I think he starts at like 8, and then he finishes like 8 in the morning or something like that. But he drives around if he sees something, and he does check. He drives in the back of the houses and checks things.
Does he drive the Kubota?
Sometimes, and sometimes he drives a security car.
Okay.
Because the Kubota is pretty loud at night. He doesn't want to wake people up because you're going driving down in the back area there. You're right by the bedrooms. You don't want to wake them up.
Okay.
I said he starts at 8 at night to like 8. I don't know what his hours are. I know they're part-time. He works 3 days a week, so they're working part-time.
I don't think most people know that we employ him.
Well, I see him a lot. I see his car, because I read in my sunroom, and I see his car, and I'm up late, and I see his car drive past.
So I've got a quick question. We just bought a new safety and security car because it wasn't good for the safety and security committee, correct?
Yes.
The old one wasn't. But it was good enough for Scott to drive around in? For 12 hours?
It used to break down on him, and then he would have to walk back and get another car. This thing used to break down on him. That's why we got a new car.
Very suspect.
Yeah.
Because it was 32A Cambridge Court. Yeah, I think that's a great idea to have the DEP come, and I can give you the phone number, because what the engineer was saying was, didn't really make sense, because every time I've talked to them, about 5 or 6 times over the past month and a half, they were very exacting in what they needed from the engineer, as I pointed out before. So what this guy's talking about, I have no idea where he's coming up with this stuff.
That's all the questions for Greg? Thank you. Next up, we got committee report. Debbie, you would like to say something?
Okay, the budget committee needs people to volunteer. If you're interested, please come up and give me your name and a way I can get in touch with you. We currently have 1 person on there, and we need more than 1. I have other people that gave me their names at the last meeting, but we still don't have enough people. Budget committee.
All right, give us your name and everything and information. A little more formal than that. Just right
No, I need people that have some kind
right there, a piece of paper.
of knowledge of budgets.
I have a safety, safety security. Next meeting is next month. We had one this month, and most of the problem, most of the talk was about the car. They wanted a car. So we got a car. You're going to start, Benji's in charge, he's in charge of the safety and security. I think it's going to be starting next week or the week after. They're going to start the night run again, which is like, I think it's a 2-hour run, and they will be driving through the village and checking things. Rich Meyer's in the back. He used to be the chairperson, but he's in charge of the security car that drives around. So if you have any questions, you can ask Rich. The other thing is be careful out there walking. There's a lot of nuts out. A lot of stuff from the trees falling down, branches. I know a lot of people like to walk in the village. Just be careful. The cold weather's coming. It's going to start getting icy and it's going to get snow. Just be careful out there. All right. Next up, the treasury report. Sandy has something.
First of all, when I first moved here, I would go out on the night on car 54, which is the car we got rid of. And I found it very helpful in learning the village because there's some little catty corners and you don't know where they are. And we would ride around for a couple of hours and we'd find a garage door open, we'd call, things like that. And just sometimes we'd see somebody walking their dog. It was just to let people know that their neighbors were watching out for them. And I found it very helpful. But anyway, some of us in the village have gotten together to do a food drive for people who are not getting their SNAP benefits in the village. We have quite a few people who get SNAP benefits, and even though there was some movement, it would only be for a partial amount. So there's a box out here, there's a box in administration, and we're storing the food over at Buckingham. And our special events will be helping identify people who need them. They will call and we will drop off food bags. And no village resources are used on this project. This is all donations. And the only thing we're using is the office. So if you can, also, for years now, we've been distributing Thanksgiving dinners on Thanksgiving. St. Martha's Church, Knights of Columbus, brings us however many we need. We've been around 140 dinners. And we have a group of people, cars, drivers and runners, and we drop them off the bags. It's very, very uplifting to see how grateful people are who can't get to their family for Thanksgiving. So if anybody wants to help with the food drive, please. Mostly we need non-perishable stuff, because we don't have refrigeration. So you can always call me, but you can also call the special events, because they're taking a list. They're taking a list for Thanksgiving, and they're taking a list for food delivery. So it's 732-364-1820, the same basic number, and it's extension 156. You can leave a message. We just need your address. For Thanksgiving, we need your address and how many dinners you need. And a phone number so we can call you to make sure you're there to drop it off. So we're kind of busy, and we hope you can help us out, especially with the food drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Treasurer's report?
Okay, as of this morning, our reserve accounts with Ameriprise is $3,259,668.57. So far, it's only the third day of November. We haven't done any transfers and we haven't written any checks out of those accounts. I'd like to give you the delinquency as of October 31st. From 0 to 30, we had 146. 31 to 60 is 43, 61 plus is 142, and that equals 331 accounts. At the present time, we have approximately 46 accounts with our attorney. I say approximately because we add more, we do get some money in, so it kind of fluctuates every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Vice President. President's report. I want to thank everybody for having a calm meeting here. I tried to do the thing with the question and answering with the chairs there so people have a place to sit to understand. The other thing is, the holidays are coming up. Just be safe out there driving. I know some people drive, they go different places. Just be careful out there. And I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. No, there's going to be question and answer. So. What? I don't think they're going to drive around and say, you can't do it.
I asked, and the room we're using is where they store the Christmas decorations, and Tom said they were taking them out earlier. I'm going to suggest that, well, you know what the resolution says, 30 days ahead. Maybe we can adjust that. I think it's kind of short-sighted, but we can talk about it.
All right, that's my report. Any other questions or answers?
Lois Gavakis, 283A Kingston. I want to thank the committees that did share about their information, but I do have a question for all of the board members. The Board of Trustees, for the sake of sharing information, I'm not complaining. Because we do have new people that have moved in here, and not everybody reads everything and knows what's going on, so I want to educate people, and I would like you guys to educate them. Each one of you, or most of you, are on a committee as a trustee liaison. All of the committees are made up of volunteers, and I am on 2 committees as well. And volunteering has helped me become a part of this community to see what is really going on and to live in the solution to the best of my ability. During almost every monthly Board of Trustee meeting, when it is asked for any committee information, there is rarely any responses except for the announcement for the neighborhood rep meeting. Except tonight, we had 3 responses, which was good. Can each one of you please share what committee you are part of? I know it is documented in the monthly newspaper, but new residents may not be aware, and if those committees need more volunteers besides the budget committee, because I am it, I'm the only one. Also, if you can, please share what projects or goals the committee is working on that you are allowed to share within the scope of your ethics agreements that you have signed, so the residents are aware what is entailed in these committees. The committees that are listed in the monthly newspaper are activities, budget, buildings, buses, election, environmental, governing documents, leisure village news, library, media, OLV Foundation, personnel, pools, neighborhood rep, safety and security, social media, special events, and the welcoming committee. Thank you.
Do you want us to answer that now?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm the liaison to the foundation. I'm the liaison, we're working on CCTV, which has been a problem because we need some expertise and we're looking for that. I'm on the personnel committee. In case you don't know, the personnel committee interviews all new hires. They are made up of residents. I'm the liaison with Buckingham Pool and the library.
Yeah, we just answered these questions. Then you're,
I'm on the environmental committee, but I haven't met yet, so I have no responses for you.
I'm on the budget committee, the election committee, and the special events committee.
I'm on Dorchester Pool, safety and security, compliance. I know there's like 3 more. Welcoming night, welcoming. Anybody have a magazine here so I can? Activities, and I think there's 2 more. Oh, ADR. And that's it. Ready?
Okay. I'm on the neighborhood representatives, the buses, building and grounds, the newsletter, and the Facebook page.
And I'm very boring. I'm on the library committee. I do the social media with Judy, and I also do the, I can't remember. Sorry, I got a brain fart. I do the community liaison, sorry. Thank you.
And Harvey's on government docs.
Social media is not
Yes, we did change on social media that it is no longer a committee. It's going to be run by the board of directors, and it's Sue and I that are taking it over. And Phil is also onto that page.
Hey, Joe, you got a question?
As per Dory 334B, as per usual, I have a ton of questions. I'm going to ask you the questions, but I will also email them to you. But one thing that I did have noticed is that quarterly meetings are for us to ask a lot of questions. A lot of people vent, including myself. But a lot of times we get little to no answers, particularly from our manager that says, we'll get back to you, and we don't get the questions answered. I'm asking them in a public forum, so hopefully that you can get back to us via email for everybody or on the Facebook page, because I think the questions that I have because I've lived here for 5.5 years, are pretty important, and they should be answered. Everybody should be privy to the questions I'm asking, and that's to keep transparency. So, Judy, questions I have for you tonight is, why is activities still collecting cash? We have a line item of $65,000 that's incoming. That's a lot of money if we have cash. You don't have to answer now. You can respond in an email, or on the, I think on the Facebook page would be a very appropriate place to answer that. Who reconciles the bingo cash, and how many people oversee the bingo cash deposits? Who makes the deposits, and they do it alone, or they do it with 2 people? Or does it go through the office? Where are, Phyllis, this is for you. Well, this could be for Judy or for you. Our outgoing bills, where are they, or that we're paying, where are they picked up from? Our outgoing bills, where are they being picked up from? When you mail out bills, where? Okay, so but on a regular basis, like when bills are being paid, do you put them in the mailbox outside?
No, mailing is in the office.
Okay. And I'm going to make a statement regarding the mailbox, because the mailbox we have to put in a request for the postmaster to get a new mailbox, because our mailboxes are outdated. The new mailboxes have a thin slit that have rollers inside, so what goes in cannot come out. Okay, they're ripe for theft, and it's been happening more and more. Okay, so that needs to be taken care of. Is there a credit card or credit cards that are for use by the village? Who has access to it? Is it paid off monthly? And who reviews the statements for accuracy? Let's see. And do we have accounts with local supply houses billed monthly, or does staff run out to the Home Depot or Lowe's, which, when they need something, wasting manpower and overtime, as opposed to calling up a supply house and saying we need, whatever we need. It could be plumbing supplies, electrical supplies, building supplies, anything of that nature, and then they could have it ready, or they could deliver it. I have a whole lot of other questions. One of the main things is, will employees continue getting holiday bonuses while we're in a budget crisis? Are we continuing to let employees leave early before a holiday? The cost to the homeowners? Don't they get paid time off that they can use? And exactly what is their paid time off budgets? So, according to the budget that we received, I calculated that we had 55 employees. So conservatively speaking, and this doesn't include Tom Claus or the seasonal employees. So conservatively speaking, if they're getting paid $25 an hour, that equates to $9,625 annually, not including work time that is lost, which is 385 hours per year. That is a lot of time and a lot of money. So if they want to leave early, they can take it on their own time. Let's see, Sandy Accomando. Okay, there was I heard along the lines that there was a bench that was going to be dedicated to Dottie Oberly. Where is that money coming from? And who authorized that? The memorial benches that we've seen around the lakes, how much are they? Why are we doing it? And where in the budget does that fall in? Last year, we had Lakewood Police were called in to monitor an HOA meeting. What was the cost for him to be here, and what was the reason for that? Background checks for employees. Can you explain exactly what the background check entails? And why are we paying for an employee to be background checked? Most places, you have to go on your own dime, get fingerprinted for your own employment background check. And Sandy, since you're on the Personnel Committee, do we have job descriptions for all positions with education requirements?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
There's a personnel manual, and each job description is very thorough and detailed. Plus, we have evaluation forms.
Okay, so does that mean they have to be college educated? Do they have to be college educated?
Not for every job. Each job is different.
Okay. Where is that personnel manual?
Probably in the office. I know we have it. I don't see Alice left. Yeah, Alice has copies, and when we have a meeting, the copies are there. I don't keep my home.
Okay. Is that something that could be on Appfolio?
Probably. It may be, I don't know.
Okay. And that brings me to the master deed. Why is the master deed on Appfolio? Why?
Craig told you that there are how many? There's a master.
I know, there are several master deeds. I'm very
There's a
familiar with
master
that.
deed for each machine.
Yes, I
in this
know
building.
that. I know that.
It's 35.
I know. Is that something that can be on, I mean, everybody says master deed, the master deed. I think the people that are in this village should have access to the master deed. Can it be on Appfolio?
I'm sure that they can get a copy if they want it. I have one.
Why do we have to go through it? Why can't we have transparency? Why can't it be on Appfolio for anybody to see if they want to see it at 11 o'clock at night instead of having to put in a request and go through hoops?
So let me answer that, right? There's nothing stopping it from being uploaded on Appfolio. There are, like we said, there's a lot of them, so I don't even know if an owner is going to be able to identify which ones for their particular unit, so I'm not
Sorry,
exactly
you can
sure.
open everyone.
You can open everyone?
Yep, so it should be, we're striving for transparency. That's what most of you people ran on, so we would hope to be consistent with that. Do your, not only the service managers, but the employees, are they ever educated in customer service?
They have what?
Educated in customer service?
I have no idea yet.
Well, apparently not. Okay, for safety, this is a big one. For safety and security of our buildings and grounds, since we have no answers regarding the fire of the maintenance building, we need to protect all of our buildings. So I find it absolutely appalling that we have to scan a card to go into the pool. We do not have to scan a card to go into any of our buildings. Namely Buckingham, where that vestibule is open all the time. So if we have homeless people, which I believe there's been homeless people in this village, they could go in there and sleep and, have a nice warm plate.
What vestibule are you talking about?
Where the sliding doors open, where you drop off your payment or,
Oh, in there.
Yeah, that should be locked up because anybody can start a fire. That's something, and I apologize for everybody, but these are the things that I pointed out for the safety and security of our village. And why in 2025 we do not have a computerized system for the gas pumps. 3 people can have access to the pumps for the trucks, vans, and gas cans to have barcodes on them. The gas pumps need to have scan guns on them to read the barcodes. You scan your employee ID, you input the mileage, and if things don't jive, it's not going to pump gas, okay? So that would hopefully monitor our gas usage and cut down on costs. And what do we do to keep up for the longevity of our trucks that we pay dearly for? How often are they washed? Is the undercarriage washed? Is the inside of the trucks vacuumed? Let's see. The Taj Mahal. Okay, we're also paying dearly for that, $1.2 million. So when are we going to have our tour? Okay, we have a right to see the new building that we're all purchasing, that we all paid for. The golf course maintenance person, what are his credentials? Is he taking care of the golf course solely, or does he help out with other grounds?
Yes, he does the golf course, and then he goes and does other stuff.
Okay, is anybody monitoring his time of how much time for the golf course? Does he have a golf course management certification?
Yes, he does.
Does he have a pesticide license for that? So then why are we paying for an outside company to come in and take care of the pesticides for the maintenance of?
He does the greens, but he doesn't do the fairway. The fairway is a different, we have the special fertilizer for the greens.
Right.
But the fairways is done by the spraying company.
Why is that when he has a pesticide license?
Because it's cheaper to do it that way.
I beg to differ.
We only do it once a month, or once every 3 months.
Well, once every 3 months, that's 4 times a year. So I think that's something to look into, and again, I will make sure I send all this information in. And anything that I didn't go over, I'll make sure that I send it to you.
Thank you.
Dory, we will work on getting answers for you on Facebook, but with the list, it's going to take some time. No.
All right, Pat.
Okay. I just want, first of all, back gate, okay? I came in the other day, about 4:30. There was a car in the chute. There was a car back down on the side. I was there, and another person was there. So basically, they couldn't get in. So they had to back up and go to the main gate. Now, when we go in there, there's a guy coming, walking, waiting for one of us to go in so he can walk in. What do we do about that? I mean, that's been happening a lot.
What time was this?
About 4:30 in the afternoon.
And this is the first time you're mentioning this?
Yeah, yes, first time.
Well, that's not what you do. You pull up.
No,
Phyllis says there's a camera there. Phyllis can get the cameras.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Okay, you ever see anything like that? Well, this is for everybody. You see anything that's suspicious, you call us up, and we'll look at the camera, or we'll see if it's somebody's living there. A lot of times delivery people, they don't speak English.
This wasn't a delivery.
They don't speak English, and they wait till the gate comes open, and they go through that way, because they can't talk to the front.
I'm just letting you know what I saw.
Okay, I'm just
telling you what I saw. It happens, a lot of people do say that about it. But basically, I went to the gate, main gate, and I said, did anybody come in here? And he said, they tell you that the gate, they said, oh, the gate's not open. So it's a good thing the gate wasn't open. I just went around to the main gate because I wanted to talk to the guy at the gate to see if anybody.
A lot of times, at safety and security, I get these issues, I get these questions.
Yeah, I know.
A month after the problem happened, you can't solve a problem by waiting a month. You gotta, that day, that time when it happens, you gotta call up and tell them, I just saw somebody coming through the gate, or a motorcycle, or whatever.
Well, a lot of people, if you're at safety and security, mention it because a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
Okay, the second is, across the street, they did a lot of the work with the grounds and the pipes and everything doing across Dorchester. You know, they had to put the new grass and then everything, I don't know what they were doing.
Are you talking about the work?
Yeah, the work is Jason, you know? Yeah, they finished all of it, right?
Yeah.
What are all the mounds of dirt there? They're growing trees.
They're gonna remove that.
Are they gonna remove?
Yes.
Okay, because
That's part of their.
there's trees growing out
Yeah,
here.
they're gonna remove that. I saw Tom checking that out the other day.
Yeah, because that's been there quite a while since they've done it.
That's gonna be done.
It doesn't look right. Second of all, you caught in the budget meeting. I wasn't at the second budget, I was at the first. When I came up here to help you how to save some money, you said to me, you were here, you were up here, you know what it's like. Okay, I'm here 20 years. I was on the board in 2017 for 2 years. When I was on the board, we, as a board members, we had Kevin, the accountant, at every meeting. And when Tom wanted to buy things, like a truck or whatever, we'd say, Kevin, is it in the budget? And Kevin would say, no, he didn't buy it. That's not happening. We made sure that the money wasn't spent, okay? And when you said that to me, you really took me a little off guard. It's getting a little hostile on the board. You gotta take it a little easier, because people are getting a little...
Here and the accountant was at one of our meetings.
Good, you should have him at every meeting. We had Kevin at every meeting, and Tom didn't like him.
Don't bring up Tom.
Yeah, he didn't like him. Okay, that's why Kevin was there, because Kevin knew what could be spent and what Tom could spend and what he was spending. Phyllis, I have a question. 3 weeks ago, I came to you in the office. I was having an air conditioner put in. I never come to the office for questions. I never ask you to call me or anything. But I went up to the office, 3 weeks I'm waiting. I asked you about a shelf. If I had to pay for a shelf, that had to be put in because the woman took the shelf out with the air conditioner. You never called me. I said, talk to Tom. I said, why? You know, this is a problem.
And I apologize, I did ask Tom. And I apologize, our office has been very busy doing training. Just follow up with me, because if I missed it, I'm sorry. But I did ask the question, I did get a response, and I apologize if I didn't respond.
You could send me an email.
Again, I just said I apologize if I didn't respond back to you, but let me know.
I'm
that
just
I
saying
missed
to
it.
you that this happens a lot. The people say we ask questions and nobody returns our answers.
And I just said I do apologize. I did get the answer, and if I missed getting back to you,
what was the answer?
So you would be responsible for it, which is what I said would likely be the case.
Right, I knew that.
But I did ask.
Yes, I knew that. So I wasn't gonna call you.
No, that's okay, but
To me, I had to have
waiting
the
for a response and I missed it, just either email me so that I know I missed you.
Like 3 weeks.
Again, I didn't realize.
Thank you,
Just
Pat.
let me know.
Sir, you have a question?
Okay, my question is about bids, the whole bid process. When I first moved here, I frequently attended bid opening meetings, and they've suddenly just stopped and disappeared. So I'm really hoping for 2026 that we're going to, as a board, you're going to talk about this bid process, and we're going to try to get some new people in here and not continuously use people like Chuck Witzak as our engineer. Because I really want to start looking at that. I think that's like a huge problem, and I want to attend those meetings. I keep tabs on all of that stuff. The other thing that I want to say, I'm going to do a reminder on my Facebook page, and I think Steve, you should probably do it on the official page. One thing that does irk me is when people come to the page and they complain about something without going through proper channels or protocol. I can't, you guys should not be getting blamed about things that you don't know about. Like last night, this morning, somebody posted on the Facebook page, my page, that somebody came through the gate at 3:30 a.m. Suspicious, I didn't ask him if he reported it, and I'll turn that information over to you, Tom, but, they have pictures of people rolling under a gate to get out of here, all kinds of stuff like that, and I think people just need a reminder. I mean, it's on you if people report it and you don't do anything about it, but I don't expect you to do something about it if it's not reported, and so I think maybe like a reminder in the mag and a reminder on the Facebook page. I'm sure Denise will put one on hers, and I'll do one on mine, because I feel bad when you guys are being dug out like that and can't do something about it if you don't know about
There's a lot of stuff people say that's not true.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I defended you on my page.
I heard you. I want to thank you.
Because I know that I know you never said what people were saying that you said at that meeting, and I don't, that's not fair. That's wrong to do that, so.
If you have any security issues, they shouldn't just post it on Facebook. If there's a security and somebody's that nervous, call the police department. They'll be here within 2 minutes. I wouldn't even bother calling the gate. Call the police. It's security. That's why they're here.
Walter Kleiner, 688B. I got 3 quick things. First one is, what is the new HOA fee schedule? I've heard different things.
$60. There was a $60 raise.
How much?
60.
50?
$60 increase. $60 increase.
60.
60.
With the buses.
The buses were kept, so we have buses still.
For the buses? We got to pay $60?
No, there's other things. There was a lot of cuts. There was the buses. The insurance was the main issue. We had.
Speaking of insurance, I walk around a lot when the weather's nicer. You have an issue with people not only riding bicycles on the sidewalks, but riding electric scooters.
I know. We're trying to get...
They should all be ridden in the streets.
We're trying to get a committee up with that. We're trying to get them all registered. And we're getting...
If I ever get hit,
well, I know.
because they come up from behind you, and you're constantly looking around to see if somebody's coming. If I ever get hit, you guys are going to be the first ones I sue. And then the second one will be whoever hit me.
So
But
just to be
you got a real insurance problem with that.
Lawyer answer me.
Yeah, just to be clear, the association, the board did approve a resolution that requires the scooters to be ridden in the street, so that's the current rule. Sounds like they're gonna enforce it.
It's not being followed.
Well, the thing is, we're trying to register all the bikes. Once we get the bikes registered and we have some kind of way to identify where the person lives, then they will be getting fines. I mean, I don't know how many bikes are in here. They're hard. It's not like a car. It's hard to find out where they live.
Well, I've got pictures of some people.
All right, pictures, fine. That would be great to send to the office.
I've only got...
We can identify
They hit me in the back sometime, and I got to show who it was. So, the third thing is the $60 a month for what?
Last week, okay.
So, the majority of the increase, because your insurance premium is anticipated to go up again, because of so many claims that are against the association.
Claims for what?
Property damage, fires, slip and falls.
Speaking of property damage...
If there were just zero claims, it would still be going up.
And you need to find a new insurance company.
There's only 2 insurance companies that would bid on this association for general liability.
All right. These are the last 2 questions.
Hi, Lillian Tobo, 385A. Just to follow up about the bicycles a little bit, I was almost hit a couple of times. On the lake pathways, I wish you'd reiterate in the booklet that the walkways are for the people first. I don't jump out of the way for a bike, but often I don't know it's coming behind me. So I think that would be good. Another issue that I've been very bothered about, I don't have a 1-bedroom unit, but a lot of people do. And religiously in the booklet, before snow, you will see listed the 5 units that are the 1-bedroom. And the rule is with snow, I believe, if you've made an alteration in that unit, the 1-door unit, and you put a 2nd door in, which is wonderful for this village, because that owner has made it safer, and so we just don't shovel that couple of feet, or that ramp that person needed, and that's why they put in that other door. I find that so awful in this senior community. And take into account all of us that shovel the back walkway, because that gets shoveled last. And that's the one we use first. We shovel it. Very often, I know I do the part of the driveway that's near the door, because I don't want the door bashed by the plow. Usually they're careful, but occasionally they're not. So that take into account all of us that shovel the walkways we need before the village gets to them. And can't that goodness be applied to those poor people who do put in a 2nd door and a ramp or whatever they needed? I have a friend in one of those, and I slipped on 2 or 3 feet last year. So it's just not good. And the third thing, I wonder if any of you really are thinking of including the homeowner when there is a big ticket item to purchase. $5,000 or more, you said it. But there's a lot of consternation about money and budget, rightly so. But are the homeowners, I've been in here about 20-something years, are the homeowners ever included in any of those purchases? Especially the 1.3 million sitting in the maintenance yard that we're paying for? It's really egregious. It's not right. We as homeowners who get the bill need to approve of the purchase before it's made. And so if there are 150 here or 250 here, whatever number that is that night, if we're prepared to vote on a big ticket item, we get to say. So I wish you'd consider that. It's serious. The budget is serious. Thank you.
A final question? Your time.
My name is Deanna, 218F Court. I have been here 3 years.
Just put the mic, pull it up, that's it, or pull it out.
Okay. I've been here just 3 years, and I put in some complaints that I'm having problems in my sunroom. Water is coming in underneath the floor. Wes has been over, and he keeps telling me that it's a 3-foot door, and I have to dig up the front, and because there's a hill that slants and goes towards the house. And he's telling me I have to get someone to fix it.
What's your address?
218F Buckingham Court.
F?
F.
Okay. I'll come over. I know where you live. I'll come over and look at it.
Okay.
All right? Thank you, everybody. I'd like to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?